Hello, today we're going to be doing Ylock number 17. For the zero product property, what we're going to be doing is basically it's just telling you that if you have this and it equals 0, then that means that this component and this component both will equal 0. So, that means that x minus 4 is equal to 0 and x minus 2 is equal to 0 as well. X is equal to 4 and x is equal to 2. And that is your answer. What this tells you is that when x equals 4, it solves this equation. It will satisfy this equation, and so will 2. Moving on. I already pre-wrote the factors, but greatest common monomial factor is basically just telling you what is the greatest common factor that you can just factor out of this equation. And for here, it's 12x plus 42y. So what you can do is, well, I already labeled it here, but you realize that 6 is the greatest common factor between 12 and 42. So what you can do is you can take out 6, and you're left with 2x plus 7y. And that will be your answer. Moving on. Now, when you solve an equation by factoring, this is basically incorporating the greatest common monomial factor rule with the zero product property. So what we can do is we get 2x squared plus 8x is equal to 0. Now let's find the greatest common monomial factor. And that's just going to be 2x. And that will leave you only with this single x. And we know that 2 and 8, they share a 2. So you can divide them by 2. And you just get 1 for here. And you get 4 for there. Since 2x times 1x is 2x squared, which is correct, and 2x times 4 is 8x, which is also correct. Now, this is equal to 0. So what that means is that 2x is equal to 0. And this also means that x plus 4 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0, and x is equal to negative 4. Moving on. Now, this one is a little bit more tricky, but it's basically the same concept. Negative 16t squared plus 14t. Now, what is your greatest common monomial factor for this one? Well, if we have negative 16 and we have 14, you can notice that you can just divide this by 2. And that will give you 7, and that will give you negative 8. So from that knowledge, can you divide any further? No. So from that knowledge you just gained, you know that 2 is your greatest common factor out of these two terms. So you can take out 2, and that will leave you with negative 8 plus 7. 7. Now, don't forget about the t. How many t's do these share? Well, just one t. So what we can do is we can factor out the t, and we get negative 8t plus 7. Now let's check this work. 2t times negative 8t. Well, that's just negative 16t squared. 2t times 7 is just 14t. And if we make this equal to 0, 2t is equal to 0. Negative 8t plus 7 is also equal to 0. We subtract 7 on both sides, giving us negative 7 is equal to negative 8t. Divide negative 8 on both sides as well, and you get t is equal to 7 over 8. You also have this 2t over here. 2t is equal to 0, and that just gives you t equals 0. So this one and this one, are both solutions to this equation. This is a solution, and this is a solution. Well, that's basically it for today. That was Ylock number 17, and I hope you have a wonderful day.